Hi everyone, I'm Emily and today I'll be making some ocean themed shakers. So I'm going to start by mixing 40 milliliters of resin, 20 milliliters of the resin part, and then 20 milliliters of the hardener. Then I'll mix it thoroughly for about 5 minutes, and I'll stir kind of slowly in order to prevent a lot of bubbles from forming. Once it's fully mixed, I'll take another cup and I'll pour a small amount into it so I can mix 2 different colors. To make my colors, I start by adding a couple drops of teal in both of the cups. Then I add some regular blue into one of the cups, and then in the teal cup, I'm going to add some glitter. Now that the colors are mixed, it's finally time to pour the first layer of resin into the mold. I'll be using a Wilton shot glass mold that I cut in half. I'll start by pouring some teal into the molds, and then after that I'm going to pour just a little bit of the deeper blue. I'm going to create a sand layer. I've mixed some resin and now I'm going to pour enough sand into it to create a thick paste. Once I got the desired texture, I added the sand to the water layer, using a popsicle stick. Once the sand layer is cured, I can finally demold the shakers. The bottom is quite rough and uneven, so I have to do a lot of sanding. I apply some water to my sandpaper to keep the powders from flying in the air. Now I'm going to trace some circles on transparency foam using a Sharpie to create the bottom and top of the shaker. After cutting each circle out, I clean it off using rubbing alcohol. Then I apply a layer of UV resin on each one so I can attach the bottom layer of transparency foam. I'll cure it using the UV lamp, and now it's time for the fun part. I'm going to add beads and glitters to the inside to make it super cute, and I'll make it ASMR, so I'll shut up now. that I'm done filling the shakers with beads and stuff, I'm going to add the top layer of transparency foam. But before that, I'm going to punch a hole with a hole puncher in the film for the starfish one and the scallop one. And now I'm adding some UV resin so I can attach each piece of film. Once that's cured, I'll add the baby oil to the scallop and starfish shaker. I actually covered the hole with UV resin before I even added the baby oil, so I ended up having to re-drill the hole. But anyway, I'm just pouring the oil in there, but eventually I realized that there was a leak. Actually, okay, I think I cut that part out. But yeah, it did leak, but I fixed that by adding more UV resin to the bottom of the shaker. But anyway, I'm recovering the hole with UV resin and curing it. And now I'm going to decorate the tops of the shaker, and I'm going to make like a nice seashore-y kind of effect. I'll start by mixing up some white UV resin, and in my first attempt, I didn't quite make it bright enough of a white, so make sure you make the white bright but not too opaque. Now, as you can see, I've got a much better shade of white, so I'm going to put that around the perimeter of the shaker in kind of like an irregular pattern. And now I've got some clear resin, and I'm going to use a toothpick to add little drops of varying sizes to make the ocean effect. For the crab shaker, I only do the effect on about half of the shaker. And once that's cured, I'm just going to add some pearls and gold pieces to add a little bit more interest. To dome the top, I'm going to start by applying a little bit of liquid latex to the bottom to keep it protected from overflowing resin. I also add some to the sides. To be honest, I should have probably done some more research about doming because I'm not very good at doing it with 2-part epoxy resin. I wish I would have just done it with UV resin like I usually do. But, well, you'll see what happens later. I've mixed a little bit of 2-part resin after the latex dried, and now I'm just going to pour it on to each shaker. I should have probably been more careful about not letting it get on the sides, but for one, my table isn't very level, and I was kind of being careless with it. So once everything was all dried, there was like a bit of a lip on the sides. None was on the bottom, and some of the sides I didn't fully cover, so there was a few drips on the side. So, like I said, I wish I would have just done it with the UV resin. But now they're cured, and the crab is on there too. And I'm going to peel off all of the liquid latex. I'll be doming the bottom with some UV resin. For the crab one, I did that ahead of time, but basically what I did was I applied the UV resin to it and then I didn't set it down. I just held it in my hand while it cured so that the resin wouldn't flow down to the side. After curing, I'm going to drill a hole into each one so I can attach the keychain parts. I start by screwing in an eye screw for each one so I can connect the jump ring to the keychain ring. I also strung some beads onto a head pin, so I'll be attaching that as well. Ta-da! Now the starfish one is done. And here they all are completed. I'm super happy with how they turned out, besides the bit of doming mishaps which I can fix with some sanding later. But anyway, if you like them too, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can also follow my Instagram at eCraftingWorld, where these will be available for sale if you would like to purchase them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Have a great day. Bye!